and gentlemen, and welcome to our show, Chercher L'Artiste. I'm Leslie Dalencour, and tonight we have a phenomenal friend that came to visit us from Jacmel, Haiti, which is phenomenal, and he's going to tell us all about himself and also a big experience that he had during the earthquake in Haiti. His name is Christopher Mitchell.
Christopher L. Mitchell is a Haitian-American photographer and director. He attended Pratt and FIT. He has been documenting Haiti in all its glory, which has been his central focus since the mid-1990s, mostly in the form of still photography. In early 2000s, he photographed child labor and women's rights in Mali for UNICEF. He has documented the numerous facets of life in Haiti, from photographing the 2010 earthquake for Save the Children, and made music videos for Haitian artists. Christopher's Haitian roots run deep, especially in Jacmel, where his mother and her family are originally from, and many of his relatives still live today. As a child, he would visit the city at least once a year, and, as an adult, he chose to start his own family here in Jacmel. Through his personal connections to the city, he has had the rare opportunity to gain first-hand access to some of the unique individuals that contribute to Jacmel's core essence. The annual carnival captures the intricate history of Jacmel through its music, dance, costumes, and characters. However, cultural traditions are rapidly deteriorating in this modern, globalized world. Gentrification and a shortage of new historians interested in preserving Jacmel's historical roots continue to threaten the city and its carnival for future generations living in the digital realm. How are we to safeguard our exuberant history and traditions if no one is replacing the historians who keep that alive? His contribution is the documentary, Conval Jacmel. He is also working on a second documentary about Vodou and the annual Vodou ceremony that takes place in Gonaïves, north of Haiti.
Christopher, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I've been so looking forward to have you. After we talked, I thought you were phenomenal, and like I told you, with me, it's like we're just gonna go have a good time. So tell our viewers who you are, what you do.
I'm Christopher Mitchell. I am a multidisciplinary artist.
Multidisciplinary, which is great.
Yeah, so we start with painting, photography, installations, documentaries. And I've worked with some projects in Miami since I've been back. I've been back for 3 years now. So I've done some installations in Miami. I did something for the 15-year anniversary. I also did a show at the first church related to the earthquake, and I did something with FIU also at the gallery on Lincoln and Washington.
Yes, that was last week. That
Yes.
was. I met Jacek in the hallways, and then he says, "You gotta come." But that day I was flying to Indianapolis, so there was no way I could make it.
Yes.
But I'm gonna definitely go see your exposition. But you have a few expositions in town also, right?
Yes, yes.
So tell me a little bit about the one in South Beach.
The one in South Beach, they focused on the, Jacek was the curator, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. They focused on the,
And
on the
Jacek is curating it.
Yes, Jacek is curating
He's a
it.
phenomenal guy.
Phenomenal. Like he brought,
And he knows a lot about Haitian culture. You know, I didn't know that we had Polish in Haiti and all that, and incredible.
Yes.
But so tell me about that exposition. What did you submit for that? Quelle pièce? What pieces?
Jacek wanted to focus on the architecture, and it was the first time I seen the work so big. I didn't look at the work for 10 years. I couldn't look at the work after I photographed.
Well, it's traumatizing.
It was. I would send it out. We would send it for help.
Right.
And I didn't look at it for 10 years, and then I started interviewing people 10 years later, and I realized I needed some images. So 10 years later, I started to work on the pieces. And then Jacek said he wanted to focus on the architecture. And it was the first time to see these pieces so so large, and to bring people in, and there was a great reaction of people feeling like they were there. You know, it's emotional. It brought back.
It's very emotional.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
But Jacek knows what he's doing. He brought in some students that did some 3D pieces of some of the architecture that was there. And it was a very, very, very powerful exhibit.
So you did maquettes, or did you did actual maquettes?
I didn't do them. It was the students in Jacek's class.
Okay.
So he worked with the architectural class, and they did 3D renderings. So right under the photographs of the palace and L'Église Saint-Jacques in Jacmel,
Yeah.
they were able to find the layouts, and they printed them under, so you can see versions of them before they were destroyed. This technology right now, the way these,
Yeah, it's totally amazing. I was looking at a documentary, the way they are finding criminals now. It's unbelievable. I mean, a drop of blood that dried from 20 years ago, and then they find out the person. It's like incredible.
yeah, it's
But how did you start in the art? How when you were a kid, you were growing up in Haiti?
I was growing up here,
Here in the States.
but my mother we always had beautiful Haitian paintings. My mother always collected. There's a lot of people on her side of the family that are artists. My father introduced me to a camera when I was 14. The dark room, he set up a dark room for me, so I took over his stuff, and then
Right.
I went further, and I was always making.
So, but at a certain time of your growing up, you went to Haiti.
Oh yeah, all the time. We were the Haitian family that always went to Haiti multiple times a year.
And you lived in Jacmel.
Yeah, so
I visited Jacmel once or twice, but I was too young to remember.
oh, you were too young to remember anything. Jacmel?
Yes.
You're gonna remember Jacmel.
Well, I left Haiti. I was 17. And I went back once or twice, and then after that, the situation never allowed me to go back. But eventually, we'll go back. But I remembered one thing was the road, that there was a turn that we were doing, and there were a falaise, and I said, never again. If I'm not going by plane or by boat, I'm never going there again. Oh my gosh, it was horrible for me. I hate heights. It's not for me. So anyway, so tell me about your youth in Jacmel. I know a lot of people from Jacmel.
Nice.
You probably know Les Boucars.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Regine. I know a lot of people from there. But I also heard that in Jacmel, they do a lot of movies.
Yes. They have the Cine Institute, which
Are you part of that?
I'm not part of it, but the graduates, I've used a lot of the graduates for sound and video, and there's a voodoo pilgrimage that goes on in the north of Haiti called Sunas, and I've brought a lot of them on my adventure to film the documentary
Right.
of that. Yeah, so it's a solid place to find great artists to work with when you were doing
Yeah,
film.
I mean, I've heard really beautiful things about those artists that are creating films and movies in Jacmel.
Yeah.
So,
Kezia is one of them. There's someone named Kezia who graduated. She's someone to look out for.
wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So now, I know for sure that you miss a lot of Haiti, because besides your art in Haiti, what did you used to do? You relax under a coconut tree.
Relax the coconut tree. I'm obsessed with Carnival, the Carnival of Jacmel. I would find everyone that was involved, because I lived in the town. So I would not only would I document the carnival, which is that's my way of having fun too. Not
Right.
just running around and dancing, but documenting it. That's another form of dance and expression and capturing it. But because everyone lived in my town, I was able to track everyone down that was involved and interview them.
Right.
I wanted to preserve the culture because a lot of older people were passing away, and we as Haitians, we have to do it ourselves. We can't wait for outsiders to come in, document it, and they go away with the information. They lock it up in some library somewhere in the States. And
nobody has a chance to know really or to feel what the people lived at that moment.
Exactly.
And that's what I want to talk to you in our second part, which we're not at yet. But I know that you had a traumatic experience, that it was something incredible.
yeah.
You know, we lost my aunt in Port-au-Prince. The house fell on her and all that, so that was really terrible for us.
Sorry to hear that.
But so when the earthquake happened, did anybody had any inclination that it was something was going to happen? How did it happen?
It was. I can only tell my story.
Yeah.
And I was in a house 3 stories up, and the house shook. And I thought it was just the house I was in. I thought it was bad architecture at the time. I run down the stairs, slowly, because you couldn't run too fast. Too many people ran, and they ran into walls because everything was just moving. It felt like you were in a...
But it shook hard.
Oh, it waved. It was a wave. You felt like you were in a car. I was 3 stories up, looking at the ocean, and it felt like I was in a car. So I walked slowly, and everything's falling around me, like paintings, everything off the wall.
Right.
And I walk out, and I thought it was just the house. And then...
And the house was in bricks?
The house was made out of block. It was a strong structure, so it danced. It didn't fall. But when I walked out, I look up, and in my neighborhood, I see clouds of smoke from the other houses that did not hold up. So then I thought something happened in my neighborhood. And I had an international phone. It was one of those phones that had in Miami. I remember people from abroad call. And it started ringing. And only friends and family got that number. So when I started ringing at that moment, I said, oh, maybe this is bigger. And then you start calling people. I start calling people, and this is an earthquake happened. And you're just calling loved ones at this point. You're calling everyone you love, and you're checking on them
To find out
if everything is okay. And then they say yes, and then the phone gets cut off. So you're just calling, and you're checking. And then I went to town. Everyone I couldn't find, I'm checking on them. I'm visiting work, because at the time people were getting off work or still at the business. So that's what was going on. It was the first photo I took.
Yeah.
I had a camera with me, but the first photo I took, I had goats. I was living the Haitian life.
Yeah.
And I would let my goats out in the morning, and they come back at night. When the earthquake happened, they all came back early. And I thought that was the most bizarre thing, and that was the first photo I took, was the goats coming back, and I said, okay, this is going to be different. It's not going to be the same. The next day, there was crying, a lot of crying, and it was from a neighbor, and because we're in the mountain, you can hear the echoes, and this woman was crying all morning long, and I went over to her house. I said, what happened? She had 2 sons in Port-au-Prince that she lost.
Oh, la, la. Listen, wait, I don't want to stop you at that moment. We're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our guest, Christopher Mitchell. It is telling us a story, and we're smack into it, so we're continuing.
So, my neighbor, she was crying. I mean, she had her daughter with her, but she lost 2 sons in the capital because the buildings came down. It was like a call of what was to come, because next thing I know, I get a phone call from somebody I knew that was organized, that was responsible for an orphanage and a school, and I used to photograph for them.
And did it happen during the day?
Yes, yes, it was around 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock and change.
In the afternoon?
Yes.
So the kids are still at school?
Yeah.
Kids at school, that must be petrifying. People still working in their offices.
Yeah.
Rush hour traffic about to happen.
Oh, the stories.
People in the streets, in the cars.
Yeah.
So what did you do at that moment?
After checking on everyone I knew in my town, I was asked to document the destruction. You know, sometimes things lead you to a place you're supposed to be in life. Everything I learned, I've done some work for UN. I've done stuff like that, and I didn't think I was for that. I've done art, but I knew I was there, and I had the camera, and I had the skills, and I was asked to document the town so they could upload the photos, and so people abroad can see how bad we were hit. So,
and there was no electricity anywhere.
There was a few people who had electricity. They had generators. They had internet because of it connected. Right. I didn't. But that's where I would go to upload the images. So I started going in town and documenting the town I love, the town my mother was born in, the town I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life in was in destruction. So I documented, and we would upload the photos every night, and people would write me on Facebook and stuff, and they said, "Can you check to see on my grandpa? Can you check to see on this person?" I was getting at least 10 a day. People asking me, "Can you check to see if someone's alive?" That became its own mission. And they went on for a couple of days. And I still couldn't find certain people in the capital. So
at that moment, you had gone to the capital?
4 days later.
4 days later,
took a motorcycle.
You got a motorcycle and you go to the capital.
Yeah.
And you probably knew some people where you could stay at their houses, but their house was probably broken too.
I was not even thinking that far. I took a backpack. I put my camera, put some clothes, and I put medical supplies. I was not thinking. It was like being a tool of God. This is not things you have to worry about. You just worry about trying to go and find the people. I was young, maybe I was stupid, but all I thought about was finding
No, that's what your intuition told you to do. And I always say, God, please take me first, because I don't want to live that. I would rather be the first one to go. Because I don't want to live that. But so you get to Port-au-Prince, and Port-au-Prince was Port-au-Prince worse hit than Jacmel?
Yeah, big time. Big time. I don't know how graphic.
Were there streets open? I mean,
it was before even getting to Port-au-Prince.
Yeah.
You see so many people leaving Port-au-Prince.
Yeah.
That they're yelling at me to say you're going the wrong way. They thought I was lost going to Port-au-Prince because everyone's getting out. All you see is people leaving and saying you're going the wrong way. And it was like it was hell. It was hell on earth. The first thing I remember seeing were people with toothpaste under their nose, and it was to block out the smell of, I don't know how graphic I can get.
Oh, that's 4 days later, so the smell of the people that were dead.
Yeah, and then you see them. You smell it before you see them. You see the piles, and they were collecting them on the street.
Oh my
People
God.
were piling them up. I mean, one of my images, it's so dark, but I mean, they were collecting them on garbage trucks. It was bad.
And where were they putting them?
Well, then came the mass grave later on. It was a little bit north of the capital. That's where they buried them all. They said they had to do it because of disease. But you saw people with caskets, rolling caskets on the street. Like I said, it was 4 days after, so you saw they were just piling up the bodies on corners. It's the worst thing that could, hopefully it's the worst thing I ever see in my life. And it wasn't easy. It was I mean, I started going through the town, finding the people one by one. I was finding places to sleep. But
And like, where would you sleep at night?
people,
People that you wouldn't know?
people that I knew or I knew through someone, they
Yeah.
offered me beds.
Right.
Some people offered me basements. No one liked to sleep inside, but I wasn't. Like I said, maybe I was young
No
and
one
dumb.
slept inside of their houses.
No, everyone slept on their yard and tents and back of their cars. I wasn't. I slept. I slept where I could.
Were they aftershocks?
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah.
Like, how often and how strong?
I mean, it was enough to be concerned because what do we know? What do I know? So I'd be sleeping
So
places.
It was strong, and so other houses were falling down.
I didn't notice that, not where I was, but it was enough to wake me up when I'd be sleeping. There'd be an aftershock. I'd be looking up and I'd be, talking, praying, and then saying, okay, I don't think.
Hi.
It was a time. It had an effect. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I was living there. So I was.
Have they rebuilt?
There's a lot of parts that have rebuilt. There's the church, even the church, the Catholic Church, it's still not finished being rebuilt, and they had a lot of funding. So yeah, there's a lot of rebuilding. Listen, I want to say too, a lot of people came together. A lot of Haitians came together. Yes, we had aid from Colombia, send help to Jacques Mel. I thank them for that because they came with the dogs, going into the buildings looking for bodies. Haitians were helping Haitians. Like it was, people came together. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor.
Yeah, of course.
Anyone could have died, which a lot of people did die, but everyone came together. It was a loss of innocence, but it was people coming together.
So, are you focusing in your work now in bringing the thoughts of what happened and see how we can help prevent such an event, or in the work that you're doing? What is it that you're trying to accomplish?
I mean, I want to tell the story. I told the story of like what happened and what people should do in those conditions. I could have left. I didn't want to leave. Like, I had an American passport. They told Americans to get out, but there are people who came. They were brave people that came the next day to help. I am
yes.
friends with them to this day.
Yes.
I am friends with them to this day. They came to help. That's how much love there was. And then there was this stupidity of Haiti was being punished because of voodoo and this and that. Like, no. That's ignorant speaking.
Was being punished?
Yeah. Oh.
Police.
Yeah. That's
Only non-educated people would say something like that.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously, Japan, Mexico,
Thank you.
California.
Thank you. And we want to talk about sinful places. There's a lot.
Oh, listen.
I know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to talk about this. California alone. Okay. Let's just not talk about things. But that's stupidity, people that say things like that. But I think, is it true that they have made a study and Haiti is on a fault line?
Yeah. So supposedly,
And what could we do to prevent that? Because don't we have those houses on the mountains of Bourdon, Pétionville? If something like that happens again.
it's architecture. It's how we learn. It's there was a time in Haiti that most of the homes were made out of wood.
Right.
And I believe it was a hurricane that made people lean more towards the blocks.
Right.
But then the earthquake happened, a lot of the blocks, homes they got damaged, and the wood ones would dance. They dance.
Oh, really?
They danced and they stood up. A lot of the.
Wow.
So now it's something to think about. And of course, homes with strong foundations. So not a lot of people are cutting corners like they used to with the architecture.
The architecture of Jacmel, those houses, aren't they like New Orleans kind of?
Yes, yes, yes. You have those homes that are like that, and less people are cutting corners. Now more people are thinking, okay, now we have to create homes that are not only hurricane resistant, but now we have to think about earthquakes, because there is a fault line.
Right.
So we don't know when something like this is going to happen again.
Well,
So
do you think Haiti will ever recover from that catastrophe?
No. No, the most Haitian thing I could think of saying is we have to. We have to. That's it. We have to. You can't complain. There's always someone who had it worse. You have to just have resilience and move forward. You have to. You have to move forward, so you have to be better. It's not a choice.
What do you feel we need to do as people that are overseas and have our everything we know about our upbringing is Haiti? What should we do? What could we do to help?
We just have to put more effort in. We can't cut corners. We can't cut corners. We have to put more effort into the fundamentals and the importance of the architecture. Like, we have to have more pride in what we do. We have to think about the future. Now, everything we do, we have to think about tomorrow.
We need to think about tomorrow. Listen, I cannot thank you enough. Thanks so much
Thank you for
joining us, and I hope you come back and visit me.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure being with you today. My guest, Christopher Mitchell. Welcome and thank you again.
Thank you.
Please take a little time to do something nice for somebody. We'll be back next Sunday, same place, same time on Island TV. My name is Leslie Dalencour. I love you.